talk on X+1 keys to longevity, inspirations from history, big data, and AI. Does anyone have any idea what X+1 could mean? Why is it X+1?
Another key?
Another key? Another key?
On the next key?
Yeah, you're close. Well, you'll find out at the end, towards the end of the seminar. Yeah. Alright, so first there's this disclaimer. Importantly, the information provided in this presentation is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended to be the substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health providers with any questions you may have regarding medical conditions. And the presenters and organizers are not responsible for any consequences arising from the use or misuse of the information provided. Use the information at your own discretion and, evaluate it. Always seek for professional opinions from physicians. Right. Thank you. So I gave a talk on this topic last week, 2 weeks ago. So I started by asking this question, and I'd like to do it again. So how many money would you be willing to put down if there's a way to extend your life or your loved ones by 3 months? Think about it. You don't have to answer me.
It depends, right?
Yeah, it depends, right? And what about 6 months, 1 year, or 3 years? Some people may say, "Oh, Dr. Chen, I hate this question because it gets me emotional." Like, how could you equate money with my life or my loved ones? Right? I would do anything if there's a way to extend my loved ones. Anyway, so Dr. Wu just gave an excellent talk on this topic, so I don't have to spend more time except to say that here we focus more on extending the health span rather than just lifespan, because it's more important to enjoy life healthily. And one of that scenarios would be like in ancient times, or from recent times as well. Some monks, before they passed away, so they sit there and with their hands closed and see you in the next slide. In Chinese it's called 圆寂, and you can translate it to be passed away successfully and peacefully into Nirvana. And there also this myth. So this is Xing Yun Dashi, who died at the age of 97 years old. And there's a mysterious fact that a Russian monk who passed away almost 70 years ago, and his body is still kind of not rotten, and it still maintains the tissue elasticity. So there's a long history of humanity, the pursuit of longevity. According to the Bible, there are multiple people who live to close to 1,000 years old. The famous one being Methuselah, who lived up to 969 years. And there were a dozen others. So, and in the modern world, the record, as Dr. Wu also said, is 122 years old. Do you need comment? And so, what are the secrets in their longevity? And now, we have to face the harsh reality that in modern days, the average expectancy of our population is about 73 years, with females being a little longer, so 76 years, and males being 70 to 71 years. And this is in line with what is said in the Bible, Psalm 90, verse 10. The length of our days is 7 years, or 80 if we're strong. Yet their pride is but labor and sorrow. For they quickly pass away, and they quickly pass and we pass inside away. And the reason that our lifespan has been much shortened compared to our ancestors could be many. So, what are the main reasons? Well, there are many facts, right? Aside from the genetic aspect, there's also the diet, the exercise that you choose and how often you do it, and the factors from the environment, so the water you drink and the air you breathe, and there's also stress. A lot of people are under stress, and some of them do not sleep well. So how many of you were able to fall asleep before 11 o'clock last night? Okay, so it's less than half. And also the connections to the community is an important factor. So in order to understand the principle of longevity, so let's make an analogy. So imagine the human body being a machine, right? So one thing I'd like to ask you to do is imagine you have a car and that's your only car. Okay, if your car is destroyed, then that's the end. What would you do to that car? Right? Same thing you should do to your own body. The way that you maintain your body really matters. So there are many parts in the car. So and there are analogies to the organs, important organs of our body. Again, today I only have about 30 minutes. I don't have time to dive into every topic, but I'd like to talk more details with you in the future. So importantly, like if we take the heart as an example, right? The heart beats every second, every minute, and it's designed to beat a certain number of times, right? So typically, the faster it beats, the sooner it's going to wear out. And likewise, our lungs and other key organs, they are designed to have a certain period of time that is in good use. And of course, our human body, the cells could regenerate to a certain degree, but there is a limit to that. And so, I'm going to talk about some principles that could help us, live longer by using our key organs in a good way. So, we can also get inspirations from animals. So there's this famous story between a rabbit and the race between a rabbit and a turtle, right? You all know that. But I'm going to give you a new version of that. So the new version of the race is to see who lives longer, right? Or put it another way, okay? So the first time the rabbit lost, and the rabbit said, oh, it's because I fell asleep, right? And now let's do another race. And turtle agreed, but turtle said, we're going to do it every year. Okay, well, you're going to do it for 50 years and add up and see who wins. Guess who wins? Right. So the rabbit lives, up to about 8 to 10 years, and a turtle can live to 100 or even in some cases up to 300 years. So what are the secrets? Right? If we look at how their heart beats. Okay, I have some data here. Yeah, right now. So there's scientific studies implying that how fast the heart beats can be closely related to life expectancy. And you can see here on this curve, so there are a number of species. And the general trend is the faster that the heart beats every minute, the shorter the lifespan. So for example, mouse and hamsters, their heart beats really fast, up to 400, 500 per minute. And they only live, a few years. Whereas, elephants and whales, they can live really long, and their heart beats very slowly. And the turtle is another extreme example. In fact, it's not just heart beating, but breathing is also important. So in this case, the giant Galapagos turtle, so they breathe about 2 to 4 minutes per minute, 2 to 4 times per minute, okay? And they can live up to 300 years. Whereas a rabbit breathes 30 to 60 times a minute. and it lives 8 to 10 years. And human beings in the middle, right? So we breathe about 12 to 18 minutes, and the average lifespan right now is about 73 years. So you can clearly see the trend. And this is also correlated with why some of the practices, such as meditation or Tai Chi, we're going to talk about that as well, is really good for health because it helps you control your breathing rhythm, and that also is related to the mind. So there's a mind-body coordination in that regard. It's very good for stress release, as well as just simply breathe slowly helps you live longer. Okay. And we can also learn from people who live really long. For example, Janine's comment with the 122 years, that kind of defied the typical human lifespan. She actually rode bicycle until she was about 100 years old. And she also credited her long life to a diet rich in olive oil and chocolate. But today we can actually offer even more powerful tools and better diets than chocolate. We know that things that are sweet actually is not really good for the health. So maybe she would have lived longer if she didn't eat chocolate. That's just my hypothesis. But so in the modern world, longevity is no longer about just about lifestyle. So we have to also access the unprecedented data, advanced healthcare and AI technology that would allow us to, not only live longer but also live healthier. So we're gonna explore how these advances could, reshape our understanding of longevity. So what shapes the longevity after all? So we can get inspirations from historical wisdom, how the ancient cultures achieved longevity through diets, lifestyles, and medicine, even without modern technology. Right? People can live really long even without all the supplements that we have, or this modern healthcare technology. And big data can also tell us a lot. So the question is how large-scale data sets can reveal patterns that were previously not understood. And then we also are in the era of AI. So what are the rules of AI that could enable personalized healthcare, predictive diagnosis, and breakthroughs in age-related disease treatment? So we can get inspirations from people who live in the blue zone. So they live pretty long, and throughout history, actually, there are various ancient civilizations that have developed unique practices that contributed to health and longevity. And usually they're related to diet and healthy lifestyles. That's a common pattern we can see. And so I think importantly, we should draw the common features from these various groups, because those are the really key ingredients to longevity. And some of the Asian wisdoms actually have now starting to found scientifically supported, and we're going to talk about that briefly as well. And so some of you may know this figure. So this is Lao Tzu, who's the founder of Taoism. So Taoism, in a sense, some people call it, the God's inspiration to Chinese people. So the Tao Te Ching is like, the Bible in Taoism. So, for example, Lao Tzu has been said that he lived to 160 years old, or even over 200 years old, because the way that he practices Taoism and the healthy lifestyle. And that's really remarkable. That's in an age where the average lifespan is about 40 years. So think about that for a moment. And so in Tao Te Ching, so it says Tao gives birth to 1, and 1 gives birth to 2, and 2 to 3, and 3 to everything. And that seems to align with what is said in the Bible, right? So in the Bible, in John chapter 1, it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." And the Chinese translation of Word is actually Tao. right? And we know from the Bible that, at the beginning God created Adam and then Eve, right? 1 and 2, and then 3 and more. Okay. So, and interestingly, so these, does anyone know these three figures here?
Sanchu?
Yeah, very good. So this is Sanqing. So they are the same, like as Lord Lao Tzu. Okay. So it's three representation from the same Lord Lao Tzu. So what does this remind you in the Christianity? Trinity, yeah, exactly. So there has had to be scholars who study the correlations between, Tao Te Ching and the Bible, and believe that, these are truly inspirations from God. Anyway, so we can also learn from the secrets of longevity from nations that do really well. Like for example, Japan. Japanese people don't seem to exercise a lot, but they are the global leader in longevity. So the men there live, the average is 81 years. Wow. And women 86 years in 2023. Even though they don't, they seem not to be particularly active. So what are their keys to longevity? So here are some. Typically they have small and diverse meals. The Japanese meals are portion controlled and include a wide variety of ingredients such as fish, vegetables, and that. So if you go to a Japanese restaurant, you'll notice that the portion is really small. That's good to know. And they eat a lot of fish, even raw fish, rather than red meat. And then the diet is low in oil and starch. And they also enjoy home cooking rather than dining in the restaurant or takeout. And they also have very balanced lifestyle. So you enjoy the seniors. They enjoy life, focus on personal fulfillment and enjoyment, avoiding excessive family responsibilities, and that could cause stress. And then they do really well in mental stimulation. So mind games like chess and Go are vastly popular in Japan. That helps them maintain cognitive health. And then they enjoy sunlight exposure and also napping. Now, there is also a hidden fact not many people have noticed. Like even though it things that they're not physically active, but Tai Chi has been vastly popular in Japan. There's been a study on the association between the Tai Chi practices and longevity and prevention of long-term care needed in Japan. And there's been strong correlation between the Tai Chi participants. The study found that Tai Chi participants, significantly delayed their days in the long-term care needed. And in China, so Tai Chi actually can be dated back, thousands of years ago, and the founder was Zhang Sanfeng. So, according to history, it says that Zhang Sanfeng lived up to 212 years. Wow. And he was the founder of Tai Chi. He created it. And again, that's in an age where there are no, supplements, no NAD or, this and that, vitamins. Just by adopting, healthy lifestyle and practice Tai Chi, is amazing fact. And in fact, the key secrets of longevity are the following. So, turtle desires, like a peaceful turtle, embrace calmness and reduce desires. In this fast-paced world, it's a good practice of mindfulness and serenity. This is really important because, think about the fact, I talked about the principles in the beginning, right? So the pace that your heart beats and, how often you breathe really matters, right? Because, all these organs, they're designed to have a certain, lifespan in themselves. And so if you reduce the desires, and that typically, involves the slowing down of the heartbeat and breathing. And monkey moves, so stay agile like monkey. So I'm not saying that, you can't do fast movement. In fact, some exercises are good for your heart as well. So studies have shown that, exercise like, fast walking and running or swimming, although when you practice them, your heart beats faster. But afterwards, your heart got strengthened, and it actually slows down the beating quite a lot. Professional athletes, their heartbeat could be as low as 50 per second. So even though during the training, the heart beats faster, but afterwards, the longer period of time, heart beats slower. And eating. So controlling how much you eat is also very important. So you probably have heard about the practice of fasting, right? So there has been these have been practices in Taoism. So we call it Sibu, not Pibu, not us. Sibu. So that means you have a control of your diet, like typically. Healthy control, typically only eat minimum of food. And we actually we're partnering with an expert on that. We're going to offer that program. That's a world famous expert on that. And scientifically, it's also well founded, because when you fast, your body, the cells would return into a crisis state, and in fact, it starts to eat up some, poisons or bad stuff. So it's called autophagy. So it's really, I don't have time to dive into that, but let's just say that practice will turn on the longevity gene of that. Fasting, controlling diet is really important. But it's also really important not to do it without some professional guidance, because if you don't do it, don't do it well, you could actually harm your health. So it's important, as I said in the beginning, seek professional advice. Don't like just listen and do something by your own. This is pretty risky. And last but not least, the childlike heart. Keep a curious, joyful, optimistic outlook on life. A childlike spirit encourages emotional well-being and helps reduce stress. So that, again, I guess it also helps you maintain, the mental health, and also it could also slow down your heartbeat and breathing. Anyway. And these are 10 good habits for longevity. So very quickly, drink tea, and have religious life, sleep well, and take a cold bath. So taking a cold bath is also helpful in a way, because it also turns your body into a crisis mode. Okay, whenever your body experiences some, most different from the comfort, out of your comfort zone, your body, your cells will start to work for themselves, and that's an opportunity to actually turn on the longevity gene. And red wine, a little bit of red wine is good for your health, especially to prevent the heart diseases. And having pets can reduce the stress. And get married. Evidence showing married people live longer. And eat less. And again, back to diet. It slows down your aging. And laugh more. Okay. So and last but not least, jumping. And I would also add, actually, so whenever you can stand, don't sit. So I would ask each of you if you could just stand up and and laugh at each other. So okay, yeah, that's the practice that helps you gain life. Okay. And in fact, when I talk to people about this lecture, I told them, any other lectures, when you sit in there, at the end, you lose half an hour of your life. Right? But this is one of the theories. You actually will gain, 3 or to 10 years of life if you listen carefully and do it well. Okay, and if you're lucky, 20 years is not a dream. Okay, so the legacy from Pastor McCardwell Ford, who also enjoyed longevity, passed away at the age of 116 years. So her life was a testament to resilience, loss of faith, having experienced 4 global pandemics, and nurturing a family of 280 descendants. So that's the health span we want to see, is that when you live longer, you actually get to enjoy, being with your family, with extended family, right? So that's really nice. And her secret to longevity, faith and spirituality. So Pastor credited her long life to her unwavering faith, saying, I live for God. Church was her favorite place, and she recited scriptures even at 112 years old. Simple daily habits. Her routine included half a banana for breakfast, daily walks, and playing puzzles. She stayed mentally healthy and physically active. And family and compassion. So Ford's family emphasized the importance of cherishing loved ones, and that she did with her extended family and her lifelong practice of caring for others, especially during the pandemic. So her faith and simple lifestyle serve as a lasting example of how love, spirituality, and staying active contribute to longevity. So we're here because this is part of the initiative from the AI and Longevity Institute, whose mission is to advance wellness through innovation and education. So at the AI Longevity Institute, we focus on integrating artificial intelligence and modern technologies with proven health and wellness practices to extend the life expectancy and the health span of everyone. And so we aim to use AI and modern medical technologies to personalize health strategies and help individuals make informed decisions about their diet, exercise, mental health, which are crucial for extending life expectancy. And our mission is to empower everyone to live healthier, happier, fuller, and longer through cutting-edge research, education, and practice health solutions. So, in fact, we are going to launch a program about longevity singing classes. So Dr. Lewis has demonstrated a good example of how singing and the other doctor as well, like how singing can actually benefit longevity. And think about it, singing is also a movement, an exercise where you control your breathing. Right? Typically, it forces you to breathe slowly because when you sing a long sentence, right, people don't expect you to break your breath in between, right? That sort of helps you to, slow down your breathing, and it's a very good internal, massage to your internal organs. And we're going to also launch a program for Tai Chi for longevity. And so Tai Chi is a really amazing technique. So right now, throughout the world, about 300 million people practice Tai Chi. Think about it. And it's really good for enhancing balance, flexibility, and cardiovascular health, and that would support graceful aging. And in fact, we've been partnering with Master Xue Fuming, on promoting this medical Tai Chi that is really not just good for healthy people, but also for people with obesity and a variety of other diseases that could help them recover sooner. And we also innovate mind games for cognitive health to defeat cognitive decline and Alzheimer's disease. So traditional mind games like chess and Go have proven to be very effective in preventing cognitive decline. And we are trying to innovate this and we have actually come up with a new version of Go that is better. We believe it's better than traditional Go because this version of Go involves physical movement. So typically, when playing chess and Go, right, you stay there for a few hours and play the game. It's mind game. It's an aerobic for the brain. It's really good for the brain. But sitting there for hours is not good. It's actually bad for health. It's as bad as smoking. So we have come up with a solution that will actually overcome that. And we believe that is much better for health. And then I'm going to offer mental health seminars to address the stress and anxiety and psychological resilience, important for longevity. And we're also going to develop some other programs like music therapy and cultural experience center, and traditional Chinese medicine and wellness centers. We have a couple experts here who are going to talk about that aspect. I'm not going to steal their thunder. And you know, in the era of big data and AI, we can also learn a lot from what kind of diet would be best for our health and how much we should eat, how not to overeat. So coming up with some modern technologies like wearable devices or other non-invasive devices that will help you monitor your health and also how much you eat and how often you breathe and how fast your heart beats. So I don't have time again to dive into this, but again, we envision AI is going to play a big role in health monitoring, and we've been working in some aspects, and we welcome collaborations in that space to together promote longevity. And we also aim to integrate historical wisdom and modern science. So we've talked about some historical wisdom from Taoism, from various cultures, and how do we integrate that in with the modern health solutions to promote longevity. That's something we can work on. And especially, the future we believe is personalized longevity plan. So how do we use the AI tool to give you specific advices on, how to improve your health span, right? Okay. So next is the X+1 part. Okay. So let me ask you a question. So if we do any harm to our body, right? Let's say we cut off a part of our body, right? That's typically bad for our health, not to mention for longevity, right? Because it's typically non-regenerable, right? But there is some parts that if we, cut off, could actually extend the life expectancy. Does anyone have a guess? Yeah.
No, I was thinking.
Okay.
Sorry.
Could you repeat your question? Sorry.
Okay, so I'm asking, typically we don't do harm to our body, not to mention to cut off any parts, right? Except maybe in the Bible, it's better for you to cut off one part of your body than to, be in hell. But what part of our body when cut off actually appropriately, okay, don't do it yourself. Appropriately could actually extend the life expectancy.
I would say a part that is already sick and it's not
no.
Could it be thoughts, or does it have to be a body part?
It has to be a part of the body.
Part of the body.
And I'll give you a hint. This is related to X+1. So X+1 because this advice is, this only works on men.
Oh.
Now you probably get it. Okay.
Lady live longer, so men happen there.
Yeah.
Male or
So remember, there's a significant difference in the lifespan between women and men, right? Women is 5-6 years more on average. But what's the difference between men and women, right? So that's remove the difference to some extent. So scientific study has shown that castration delays epigenetic aging and feminizes DNA methylation at androgen-regulated foci. And this is actually there have been multiple studies to show this. Scientists have done this on sheep, and it shows that the male one's lifespan got significantly extended. And not only so, history. So historical fact has shown that in Korea, for example, the castrated man lived on average 14 to 19 years old, longer than regular. And a study showing about the Asian Chinese people, they found that the Asian emperors, they only lived to about 40 years, but those castrated ones, they live to about 71 years old. So, and for the Chinese people, you probably know this. 欲练神功 So that's金庸the novel, right? 笑傲江湖. And there is actually some scientific fact about that. And so, in fact, when I talk about adding 3 years of life to your lifespan, I was not exaggerating. Right? This could add 14 to 19 years to your lifespan if done appropriately. Okay, don't do it. Okay. And the big decision, you have to talk to your family first, and then stuff. And okay. So why is that? I think this is more important. Like scientifically, like why does that work so well? And what is the underlying scientific mechanism? And how could we possibly take advantage of it and develop novel methodology that is less invasive, but could still, achieve better longevity for men? Right? I think those are really good questions that we should ask ourselves. And in fact, we have found some clues that even if you don't do that, you can still, achieve successful longevity. Okay? And I don't have time again to talk about it today, but I'm gonna, in the spirit of singing, I'm gonna sing a song, and you'll see that. Okay. And this song is called 夕阳红, Sunset Glow. Can you hear? Oh, there's no music. I have to connect to the Bluetooth. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, I'll do it again.
最美不过夕阳红，温馨又从容。
夕阳盛开的花，夕阳是1000年的酒，夕阳是时代的爱，夕阳是多少情爱化作一片夕阳红。
Thank you. So now I hope you understand why I said you don't have to do that, you can also succeed. So in ancient times, like in Italy, right, in Europe, like young people have been castrated in order to achieve, like female voices. And we don't have to do that. There's a way. So if anyone is interested, we can talk about it. We've offered that course as well. And so Tai Chi is in fact part of it, because Tai Chi emphasizes on the harmony between yin and yang. Okay, so yin is feminine and yang is masculine. So you don't actually have to lose your biological parts in order to achieve the yin and yang in harmony. And this is going back to the X+1 keys, right? So, I apologize, the messed up, but we all know that the female chromosome is XX, right? And male is X plus Y, it's XY, right? So you overlap XY together, that sort of phenotypically correspond with the differences between male and females. Okay, that's what I mean. And so there is a way to actually take advantage of that and achieve feminine without doing harm to your body. And we're still working on it. We have already got some useful tips, and we have to develop more. And last but not least, I would like to emphasize this is just one talk out of a series of talks that we prepared. And I believe if you can listen to all these talks and do it well, extending your life or your loved ones by 3 to 10 years is very realistic, and 20 years is what you can hope for. And back to the question: how much money would you be willing to put down for adding 3 months or 3 years to your life or your loved one? Right? Think about it. And if you like this talk and would like to listen to the future talks, I would encourage you to make even a small donation. And think about how much these would be worth, right? If you attend all these courses like that, seminars. And I would encourage you to make a small donation, small or big, that would help us spend time to well prepare these and also to advance some of the technologies that would actually benefit humanity, ourselves included, and our parents and our family members. And so with that, I'd like to I'd like to close by saying that there are a lot of tips online you can find about longevity, secrets to longevity, but not everything is true. Okay, so that's why we're here, because if you follow some advices and that turns out to be false, then think about that, what that will do to your health, right? It can actually shorten your lifespan. So, like for example, this is a post that I found online. It says, according to World Health Organization in 2021, they announced the top 20 tips for longevity. The number 1 is drink some good alcohol. I was really skeptical about it, and then they looked into it, and it turns out to be fake. So, in fact, drinking alcohol is strongly discouraged, and only a little wine, I think, is what health experts would recommend. And so I would end here, and like I said, I encourage you to consider making a donation to this, and in the next 2 weeks, the highest donation person would gain access to all these that we're going to offer. All right, thank you very much.